Few news stories that I thought were interesting. Now the large drugstores in downtown San Francisco have closed because of the rampant shoplifting, is what they say, and I see no reason to doubt it. I've heard that so many times. So they're talking about turning them into more smaller retail units, which would be nice, but I've lived here long enough to know that anything like that is usually impossible. We'll see. The overregulation of anything to do in the city is so extreme that it'll probably take 10 years for anything like that to happen, but we'll find out. The Swiss were teaching eagles to attack drones and bring them down, and they've decided to abandon that because the new drones are much faster and more difficult to catch, and they think the eagles will just get killed, and it's not the best way to do it. Anti-drone technology is something people are still working on. We certainly need it. Drones are a really powerful weapon, and you need some way to fight them back. And I don't think there's a standard technology yet for fighting back on them. TSMC is planning to make a 1 nanometer chip facility. We've heard about going down to 3 nanometers. They already are planning for 2 and 1. It'll probably take several years to get 1 nanometer working, which is a really significant milestone. 1 nanometer is 5 times the size of a silicon atom, 4 or 5 times. So they're getting as close to the limit of 1 atom per transistor at this level. But they do plan to make 1 nanometer. 2 nanometers they hope to start producing in 2025, and 1 nanometer a few years after that. Palmer Luckey is somebody involved in gaming, I guess, and he decided to make a headset that will kill you. If you die in a game, you will die in real time. So these are explosives that will blow into your brain if you lose the game. I don't imagine he could possibly sell this, but he's made it, and it's something apparently people have wanted in 3D virtual reality games for quite a while. I think it's nuts, but it apparently now exists. Yeah, what if you equip the eagles with guns? Yeah, that would be the next step. All right, so Microsoft is going to have password-free authentication. Now, there's quite a few versions of this coming out, and the idea is that your phone will identify you by something like face scanning, and then your phone will just send a certificate up to authenticate with all the servers, and you won't use a password. It does seem a lot better. Your phone has the ability to do biometrics, so a really pretty good way to identify you, and your phone could then just report that it has identified you. Of course, I can see various flaws, but anyway, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, and you can make it work with a 2-factor Yubico authenticator. So, this is a public preview, and they need the websites to match the standard and everything, but this, I think, is the way of the future. They've been talking for 10 years about getting rid of passwords, which certainly would be a good idea. Like everybody else, I have hundreds of passwords. I can't remember them. I use a password manager. Now, I've been inspecting the password managers, and they're doing relatively disturbing things with the passwords. They're not as safe as they should be, and the whole thing seems like nonsense. This kind of thing seems a whole lot better once they get it working. So this was interesting. A Twitter engineer supposedly writing about this, although, of course, you have no way to verify that anything said on Twitter is true. This all seems quite fair. In 2015, 2016, he was writing an app, and the advertisers wanted information from the app, and they kept coming to him and telling him to tell them more information. He found ways to give them some information in an anonymized way. And they said, no, we want to know exactly everything every user does. We want to know when they wake up. We want to know every location they go to. We want a complete track of every user's location and everything they do all day long. And apparently other apps do that. I know the Papa John's app, about a year ago, I think it's Papa John's, some advertising chain is closed on Sundays because they're Christians. And they made a advertising campaign of where do our Papa John's customers go on Sunday when Papa John's is closed, and they can track them all in the app. So they just had a report of how many thousand go here and how many thousand go there, just revealing something which other app people have been reluctant to admit, which is that your apps are totally spying on you. Everything you do, they're just reporting it back. And this is legal in America. They do not need to tell you when they gather data. They do not need to tell you how they use the data. And this is why the European laws like GDPR will help. But basically, every app is just reporting tons of information back, and you don't even know what they're reporting. Somewhere in that terms of service, it says, we may collect some data and we may exchange it with our business partners, which means they can collect anything they want, and they can sell it to anybody they want, and they can resell it to anybody they want, and all that is going on. Anyway, So at the RSA conference, apparently they monitored the network to see how many people were sending unencrypted data with passwords, and they found 55,000 passwords and 20% of the data unencrypted, which is rather surprising to me. I would have thought less than that. They say, of course, a lot of this is in the vendor area, and a lot of it might be automated processes, but still, that's an interesting fact. Certainly, I don't think I log into anything that's not HTTPS anymore. Not that I know of. Maybe there's some background processes setting things up. I know like POP3 and IMAP will do that if anybody's still using that stuff. So Elon Musk's latest idea, I missed this one. This is from today. Now he wants to put all of Twitter behind a paywall. So the stuff he's done so far, I've been sort of saying, a lot of people I know are freaking out and fleeing to Mastodon, and I'm saying, well, I don't think anything he's doing really matters to us too much. This would matter, I think. If he did this, I think we would all have to flee to Mastodon. So we'll see if he does that. That would be a pretty good way to kill the product in a hurry. This is something I'm watching on the internet for decades. People make a free product, and what they found is when you make it into a paid product, you lose 99% of the users. Only 1% of people will pay anything at all. And I doubt he wants that because he's planning to make money from advertising. And that's why you make things free, so you can get a lot of people to sell advertising. If you scare away 99% of the people, you won't make any advertising money. So we'll see. It just is incredible to watch Elon Musk destroying his reputation and his goodwill and everything. And yet, in general, there's a whole lot of people in Silicon Valley that just worship founders, and they'll follow him anywhere and believe in him no matter what he says. He's very, very much like Donald Trump. And the people following him are loyal like the people are loyal to Trump, and no amount of obvious failure shakes their confidence at all. It's essentially a religious thing. Anyway, another bit of malware in the Google Play Store. This keeps happening. Google is very ineffective at keeping malware out of the Play Store, much less effective than Apple. And they got various apps there. These are just adware apps. They cause ads to keep popping up on your phone, so when you turn on your phone in the morning, there's ads all over the place. It's the kind of thing you've seen quite a while. I think you'd call this pups. But anyway, the interesting thing is Google had actually busted the same company for putting these ads on several times over here. And they kept just putting ads back in, and Google would complain, and they take them out, they just put them back in a few months later. And it's surprising that Google doesn't ever ban them. But I don't think they can, as a matter of fact, because they don't ever authenticate who you are. So you can just change your identity and come back. But anyway, they don't even have to change their identity because Google doesn't really do much at all. This is interesting. This is an OLED on a flexible piece of fabric, so flexible you can stretch it from 12 inches to 14 inches wide without breaking it. And they say it's high quality. It's only 100 pixels per inch as opposed to 275 pixels per inch, which is so it's not quite as good as the Apple display, but it's still very good. And of course, this would make it possible to put this stuff on fabric and on wearables. And it would also mean, of course, if you drop it, it won't break, which is a huge thing. So it sounds like a real step forward. For ads?
Yeah, I mean, the feature probably.
Oh yeah, for ads, yep. But also, this is actually a science fiction staple, clothing where you can put designs on your clothing and change the color and stuff. And I know a lot of people do that. They put LED displays on their clothes and such, and this would be even cooler. So it definitely seems like there'd be a ton of applications. And this I was surprised to see. This is Hardball. FTX was one of the major exchanges, and by the way, this is run by Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's a major contributor to democratic elections, millions of dollars, and he's just totally out of the game. And this was a power move by Binance. Binance is the #1 cryptocurrency run by this guy, CZ, it's overseas, it's not obeying American laws or export restrictions, so Americans cannot make accounts there. They have a subsidiary called Binance America, where Americans can make accounts, and that will probably be in significant legal trouble. But right now, it's the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, and what he did was FTX issued a currency, and he bought a bunch of that currency, $2 billion worth, and then he started hearing rumors that FTX was having financial trouble, so he foreclosed. He was going to sell these $2 billion. All right, cough up the $2 billion right now, and they don't have it. So that's a muscle move, and in return, they had to sell the whole thing to him. That was the only way out. He said, well, if you don't have the cash, I'll just take the company instead. And they went for that because the point is that way their customers don't lose. If he had taken all the cash, all their customers would have lost all their money, which by the way is true of Coinbase too. Coinbase in the terms, they say if a cryptocurrency crashes and we go broke, you simply lose your money. There's no FDIC, there's nothing. That's part of the terms. That's part of the risk you take by using any of these cryptocurrency exchanges. They're not banks, and they're not covered by there's nothing backing them. And so he said, in order to be responsible to our customers, we sold to Binance. So that's it. Cryptocurrencies are merging. Now, another interesting issue, of course, if this happened in the American financial system, there would be a oversight of whether you're allowed to buy another bank and merge because of monopoly concerns, but I don't think there are any such concerns here. That's not in America.
Where was the base?
What's that?
Where's the base?
Debate?
Where is the finance base?
I think Singapore, but I'm not sure. I know it's not in America, but I think it's Singapore. I don't think they tell you here. In fact, it's a good question. Let's find out where is Binance based. Ready to get this thing to stop doing the wrong thing? All right. Malta based. That's an interesting issue. Where is it located now? Despite claiming to be based out of Malta, it's apparently actually located in the Cayman Islands. Well, I guess nobody knows where they are. That's pretty typical for a cryptocurrency thing. They probably jump from place to place to try to escape all the laws. That's the thing. When you deal with cryptocurrency, you're dealing with really shady people. That's why Coinbase is the most legitimate of cryptocurrency places. Anyway, this is...
I think Singapore is trying to ban cryptocurrency also.
Yes, I think Singapore is trying to crack down. That's probably why they moved to Malta or to somewhere else. Anyway, so this is interesting. There's a material made out of just cobalt and something else, something normal. There's a metal, which is just a form of common metals. Let's see if I can get the name. It's just iron, nickel and iron. But for some reason, there's a crystal formed of nickel and iron, which does not occur on Earth. It only occurs in meteorites. And it has enormous magnetic properties, which is really important because the rare earths, the rare elements like neodymium, are what you need to make powerful magnets, and you need them for fiber optics, and especially you need them for the magnets and all these electric motors and all the electric cars and everything. And right now, China has totally cornered the market. Like 87% of that stuff comes from China now, because refining it is really dirty. It pollutes the environment a lot. So everybody else is not willing to put up with it. But right now, China is willing to put up with all that pollution. So an alternative would really help. And apparently this will be it. Well, they say it will take years to develop the process, but they have learned how to synthesize this special form of iron and nickel, which has strong magnetic properties like the rare earths. So in 8 or 10 years, it may serve to help deal with the rarity of those.
There's a company out in the EU inventing a new motor, new type of contactless motor for, without using the rare earth magnet.
Oh, I didn't know about that, but that's a good idea.
So it's like contactless. Use a magnetic field to create a magnetic field.
Oh, good.
Contactless, so there's nowhere.
Let's see, contactless electric motor without rare earths. Let's see if I can find it. I had not heard about that, but that also sounds like a good idea. Cheap, highly efficient new EV motor. Mali. Okay, good. I'm glad you told me. I didn't know about this one. Uses no magnets. Well, that's another alternative then, if they can put this in all those Teslas and everything. Good.
Coming.
Good. I'll save.
They are setting up the production.
Good. That's another option. Let me save that, and I'll throw it in the chat, and I'll throw it on Twitter. That's useful information. Thank you. Good. All right. So let me stop this. That's enough news.